Hi, in this tutorial we're going to have a look at the anatomy of the female reproductive system. So let me start by drawing the relevant anatomy. And I'm going to draw the uterus cut open in the coronal plane. The uterus is the large, slightly conical organ in the center of this image. And we'll begin by labeling the surrounding features. First of all, at the bottom we have the vagina. This is a fibromuscular tubular organ. Its roles in reproduction include receiving male ejaculate and also to provide passage for a baby from the uterus to the outside world. To each side of the uterus lies the ovaries. These are the female gonads. Their role is to produce eggs for subsequent fertilization and sex hormones which regulate the release of these eggs into the uterus and regulate the menstrual cycle. Continuous with the uterus are two fallopian tubes. These are the passages by which eggs from the ovaries reach the uterus. And at the end of each fallopian tube are a series of finger-like structures called fimbria. Their job is to catch the egg from the ovaries when it's released. Inside the ovaries are a series of follicles. These are developing eggs and the supporting cells, all in various stages of development. So let's just pause here for a quick rundown on the process of an egg getting from the ovaries to the uterus. This is known as the process of ovulation. Once per menstrual cycle, a mature follicle will break open and release the egg from one of the ovaries. The fimbria catch this egg and it travels down the fallopian tube until it reaches the uterus. So now let's look at the various parts of the uterus. This space in the middle where the fetus will grow is called the uterine cavity. This top part is called the uterine fundus, and the narrow part of the uterus is called the cervix, and it is the section that protrudes into the vagina. It is clinically very important as it is the site of cervical cancer, and it's the part of the uterus that gets checked in a pap smear. The opening of the cervix is called the os. The thick muscular wall of the uterus is known as the myometrium. This muscular tissue contracts during childbirth in order to expel the baby from the uterine cavity. And lining the walls of the uterine cavity is the endometrium. The endometrium provides a surface for the implantation of the egg, which will be nurtured by the endometrium until the subsequent development of the placenta. The endometrium is also the tissue that gets sloughed off and renewed during menstruation. Finally, there are a number of ligaments attached to the uterus. Here is the ovarian ligament, and here I have shown part of a much larger ligament known as the broad ligament. A third ligament, the round ligament, is not shown here. And that's an overview of the anatomy of the female reproductive system. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please help us produce more by making a donation at www.handwrittentutorials.com.